Every year in January, the people who own the world fly their private jets to a small ski town in Switzerland to decide the fate of the people who rent it. Usually, the World Economic Forum at Davos is just noise, a lot of buzzwords about sustainability and resilience meant to make us feel good while they consolidate power. But Davos 2026, which concluded yesterday, was different. For the last 3 years, since the AI boom began, the public narrative from the elite has been comforting. They told us that AI is a tool, a co-pilot, and that it won't replace you, that only a person using AI will replace you. It was a nice story. It kept the middle class calm and kept people enrolled in expensive universities. But this week, behind closed doors in Switzerland, the mask slipped. The comforting lies about co-pilots were abandoned. What replaced them was a cold mathematical admission that the economic utility of the human middle class is collapsing faster than anyone anticipated. They didn't say it to the press cameras, but if you look at the data coming out of the summits, the message is undeniable. The war on labor has been won, and you need to know what they plan to do next. To understand the panic at Davos, you have to understand the technology shift that just happened. Until late 2025, AI was passive. You had to prompt it. It waited for you. It was an exceptionally smart hammer waiting for a carpenter. That is over. The theme of Davos 2026 was Agentic AI. Agentic AI doesn't wait for a prompt. It is given a goal, like optimizing a supply chain or auditing financials, and it autonomously executes the thousands of steps required to do it. It doesn't need a manager, it doesn't need healthcare, and it doesn't ask for a raise in line with inflation. At Davos, the IMF hinted at this disruption, but the private equity titans were blunt. The discussions weren't about how to retrain workers, they were about the massive explosion in profit margins that occurs when you delete 60% of your white-collar payroll. They aren't looking to make their employees more productive anymore, they're looking to remove the human friction entirely. In 2026, you are the inefficiency they are solving for. This brings us to the economic reality that the Davos crowd is salivating over. Economists call it the Great Decoupling. For decades, as workers became more productive, their wages went up. That broke around the 1970s, but look at the last 3 years. Productivity is going vertical because of AI, but wages aren't moving. Where is that gap going? It's going to capital. It's going to the people who own the machines, the algorithms, and the equity. The terrifying admission of Davos 2026 is that the cost of intelligence is crashing to zero. When intelligence is free, selling your brain power for a salary is a losing battle. If your job involves sitting at a computer and processing information, you are no longer competing with other humans. You are competing with an agentic AI whose operating cost is effectively electricity. The old American dream was based on labor. Work hard, get a good job, buy a house. The Davos 2026 reality is based on assets. Own the things that generate value or be left behind by inflation that eats away your stagnant wages. So if the Davos elite have decided that human labor is obsolete, what do? We have to stop thinking like labor and start thinking like capital. The actionable takeaway from Davos isn't to learn how to prompt better, it's to understand that the economy is bifurcating into two distinct groups, those who are leveraged to AI and those who are replaced by it. You need to position yourself on the right side of this equation. This doesn't just mean buying tech stocks, it means owning things that cannot be printed by a central bank or replicated by an AI. First, you need equity in efficiency. You need ownership in the companies that are successfully deploying these agents to widen their margins. You want to own the efficiency, not compete with it. Second, you need scarce physical reality. AI can generate infinite text, images, and code, but it cannot generate land, energy, or raw materials. As the digital world becomes abundant and cheap, the physical world becomes scarce and expensive. And third, which was the surprising whisper at Davos, there is a growing move toward assets outside the traditional banking system. As governments panic over job losses, they will turn to printing money to fund universal basic income. The smart money at Davos knows this leads to currency debasement, and they are quietly hedging into decentralized sovereign assets. The party at Davos is over. The private jets have departed. They have returned to their boardrooms to implement the agentic strategies they discussed. The window to transition from a labor mindset to a capital mindset is closing. 2026 is the year the training wheels come off the global economy. The elites have shown their hand. They are betting against your wages. The only way to win is to bet on their greed by owning what they own. This is a massive topic, and we're going to break down the specifics of scarce asset investing in the next few videos. In the comments below, let me know, do you believe your industry is safe from agentic AI, or are you already seeing the replacement happening? Stay skeptical, stay invested. See you next time.